Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media FA. Today, I'm alone, and today I'll be discussing Agatha All Along, the most recent installment in the MCU, and also the most recent series in the MCU, coming out in September of this year, and I'm covering it now. So this sort of released in a bit of a weird spot. So it's it's a spin-off of WandaVision with following Agatha Harkness, which I feel like Agatha Harkness was one of the parts of WandaVision that people really liked. So I think it was a smart move making a series about her, even if she's not that big of a character. But it's a weird spot. Yeah, a lot of people did watch WandaVision, sure, but it's in a bit of a weird spot. Because it released right after it released right after Deadpool and Wolverine, which is like one of the biggest MCU movies post Endgame, which is fine, or like post Phase 3, which is what I think should be said instead of post Endgame, because fucking Far From Home is post Endgame, and that's kind of been forgotten. And that one's part of Phase 3. That was like the epilogue to Phase 3. But anyways, but post Phase 3, Deadpool Wolverine has been one of the biggest ones, so that really put Marvel in a lot more on the radar. But what happened with Deadpool Wolverine, we kind of discussed. I think we discussed it. Is that it's not part of the MCU. It has stuff from the MCU, but it is set in the X-Men universe, in the Fox X-Men universe. That's where it's set in. It's just made by Marvel, by Marvel Studios. Now that they own all those characters, so actual MCU material we haven't had since the release of Echo, and I believe I said it before. I think I did like Echo up until the finale, but I know that a lot of people thought Echo was a mixed bag, and I would agree. And I put Echo in C tier. Okay. I did enjoy some parts of Echo until the finale, and I feel like it was too short. So actually MCU stuff, there hasn't been anything good in a while. And Echo was like coming right out of the Marvels, so like really anything that was above the Marvels was already kind of better for the MCU. And that's why I think a lot of people who did watch Echo, I know Echo wasn't viewed by a lot of people, but those people that did watch Echo really gave it the benefit of the doubt, because we just came out of the Marvels, which was a bomb in all aspects. It didn't do well critically. I'm pretty sure. I think it did well critically, but it didn't do well financially. A lot of people did not like the Marvels, myself included. I won't be excluding myself from that club. I also didn't like the Marvels, and I explained it fully in an episode that I think came out earlier this year. But yeah, I did not like the Marvels. Like, period, did not like the Marvels. And so like Echo was, sure, it was good up until then. So like Marvel actual canon MCU hasn't had something good in quite a while. So yeah, and also another thing that happened with Agatha All Along, it might have, I don't know if it's ever had good viewership, but I think it didn't, is that it came right at the same time, same week, only separate by like I think a day or two from the Penguin's release. Now I'm not gonna be comparing this to the Penguin, because that's fucking unfair. The Penguin, it is a better series in every single aspect. It's not even close. The Penguin is just a better series in every single aspect. It does not. I can't even say like, oh, except in this. No, it's like in every aspect. If you want to watch a TV show based on superheroes, I know that's super weird, but if you want to watch a TV show based on superheroes, and if you at least recently you asked me between Agatha All Along and the Penguin, I'm gonna say the Penguin, really, The Penguin is just a much better show, but I won't be covering here, even though, like I said, it released like a day after the Penguin. Like I thought no, I thought All released a day before Penguin. So yeah, it had that. I wouldn't say competition because it's not. I don't think it was in competition, but it definitely had that that factor in it where Agatha All Along released at the same time as Penguin, and not. I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot more people tuned into Penguin that they did with Agatha All Along, especially with the Marvel stuff coming out, with the Marvel stuff, with Marvel fatigue, and especially the fact that a lot of the series. Sure, 2024 has been a pretty slow year for Marvel. We've only had Echo. We've only had Echo. We've only had Echo, Definitely Wolverine, Agatha All Along, and now in December, really soon, about a week from now, we are getting. We're getting. At What Is Season 3. So 2024, only 4 things. That's way less than 2023. I think 2023 had a little bit. I had maybe 6 or 7, and that's a lot. That's a lot less than 2020, 2022, and 2021, where both of them had 9 projects. So this is like a less than half of what those two had. This year was pretty slow, and it seems like 2025 is picking up the pace when it comes to movie releases for Marvel, and especially TV shows. There's a lot of TV shows coming out next year. Just to run it. Next year, not only is Phase 5 ending, but we're also getting the start of Phase 6. If you're affiliated with Spider-Man, is coming out in January. I don't know how that's gonna work. If it's gonna be like all of them at the same time, all the episodes at the same time, I'm not sure. But then in March we're getting Daredevil Born Again. Then it seems like it's taking a break for a bit. After that, maybe because there's maybe because you're familiar with Spider-Man is, and maybe because I think it's maybe because you're familiar with Spider-Man. No wait, no, it's not taking a break at all. But I know for with Spider-Man and Daredevil have around 9 or both of them have 9, 10 and 9 episodes respectively. So they're gonna be running pretty congruently for a bit. And when it comes to Marvel, they're gonna be running at the same time for a bit. And then I guess after Daredevil finishes up, we are going to be getting Ironheart in June. Then that's the last thing for Phase 5. And that's when, and then after that, Fantastic Four releases, which I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four will be releasing. I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four will be the start of Phase 6, while a Phase 5 thing is going on, which is not normal for that to happen. That's not been a normal thing. But anyways, that seems that's weird. But yeah, Fantastic Four comes out in July, and then after that we have Eyes of Wakanda, which is a new animated series coming in August, and then it's Marvel Zombies, and then it's Wonder Man in December, which is gonna be. Which is gonna be the next one. I'm surprised that Wonder Man took so little time to develop, because I remember that show being announced not too long ago. The thing is with Wonder Man, it was never announced. Wonder Man was never announced until they showed it in that one video, going over every single thing that was gonna be released in 2025 for Disney Plus at least. And yeah, the 2021 will be a big year for Marvel. I don't know how viewership is gonna go for all those shows. Yeah, Wonder Man was such a weird thing to reveal, especially since they've been going on about this about other shows, for example, Vision Quest was like in development for a long time. We still haven't heard anything from Armor Wars since like 2022. I'm pretty. I think. I think Don Cheadle said something about it recently, like saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for them to tell me something about the show," but I got no idea. It's been a weird time for Armor Wars and some other stuff like we haven't heard from like we haven't heard any season 2 announcements from any other stuff, so we really don't know. Yeah, a Vision Quest was the only like we know that the Flame Red Spider-Man is getting a second season. We know that we know that Daredevil Born Again is getting a second season. Because they split the 18 episodes from I think the first season was supposed to be 18 episodes, but then it was split to 9. Or like I don't know how it's gonna work. I think I heard it's gonna be like part 1 is like 9 and the other like is gonna be released later. I got no idea how Daredevil Born Again is supposed to work. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like, oh, the first season is 9 episodes. No, the series was expected to consist of 18 episodes to into 9 episode halves. I'm pretty sure it's now just going to be 9. Yeah, first season is kind of a 9 season. Yeah, so I'm going to guess that I'm just going to guess that this is just the Born Again is just gonna have 2 seasons, and not both gonna be 9 episodes. Yeah. So Agatha All Along also had 9 episodes. But what did it do? So now bring it back to on Agatha All Along. Yeah, it released in a really weird time, I would say. This show was just like released in a weird time. It had a weird premise. It was nothing like what Marvel had ever released. It was nothing like Marvel had ever released. That's legit what it was. It was nothing like Marvel had ever released. Before this, after this, it was pretty much brand new for Marvel. This show, and it had no like big action sequences. It was just this show, and but this was gonna be. I covered it in the trailer episode before. I think at least 1 or 2. But yeah, what did the show really bring to the table? I talked about being excited for the show to be something new for Marvel, to really show something for Marvel, and did it succeed in bringing something new to the table and making it good? Because a lot of people weren't really excited for this show. So what did Agatha All Along bring to the table when it comes to Marvel? Is it the best MCU show that has come out this year? For now, yeah, I would say so. But is it the best MCU show? I would say no. But there are some very good things about Agatha All Along that I want to get into. So, without further ado, let's begin. We always begin for these. I know it's been fucking 13 minutes, almost 14 minutes since I started this, but yeah, moving on to actually the show. Let's talk about the CGI. I would say that they didn't use a lot. I didn't watch the Assembled, the behind the scenes documentary of how they made the TV show. I will admit it, I didn't. I did not watch I haven't watched them since. I think I haven't watched them since the Doctor Strange one, Multiverse of Madness. I don't think I've watched any of them, and I only watched that one because, and I only watched. I didn't watch any of them after that one. So it's been quite a bit. It's been quite a bit of time since I've watched Assembled. So I don't know how they made the series, but I think I saw some behind the scenes footage, and it looks like they did use blue screen for the Witches Road, but it also had practical elements, and I know this series uses a lot of practical elements. This show isn't very heavy on CGI. The only times I can really say it's heavy on CGI are when it's trying to illustrate events that happened from WandaVision. Like they made the hex for a little bit, and that was really the only time they used CGI. So this show mostly goes on with camera work and all that, and mostly practical effects. At least I would think so, since they're not really using CGI all that much. So I think they look good. I think the only thing that they didn't really use is the demon. I remember the demon episode, in the episode where they're singing. Yeah, that episode 4. The demon didn't. I don't think it looked that well, but honestly, like aside from that, a lot of the show doesn't look all that bad. And I think that's what I said. I think it's just because they used their CGI. They used their CGI in a smart manner, because I'm guessing they didn't have as much budget as they probably wanted to. If I had to guess, yeah, the budget of the show is less than $40 million, which it's not okay. That's not like a short amount of money or anything, but it is to Marvel. Let's get this clear. I think that is the lowest budget of any Marvel show. Yeah, no, it says it's. I mean, it says. I'm glad that it was. I'm glad this people watched the show. I didn't think. I didn't think people actually saw the show. But yeah, no, top 10. Say viewership. 20 million users. Okay, god damn. People really watch Agatha All Along. I didn't know that. I did not know that a lot of people watch this show. 4.6 million views on Disney Plus in its first day. God damn. That's actually not bad. I'm glad that people watch the show, because it's actually a good show. It's a good Marvel show. I remember when people used to really watch Marvel shows, when WandaVision was coming out, and One Fucking Winter Soldier, Loki especially. When Loki Season 2 came out, that was a pretty big one. But aside from that, not a lot of people watch the Marvel shows. Not a lot of them watch it, because there's just so many. And a lot of people did quit. For example, I remember Moist Critical used to watch a lot of the shows, and he just did not review them. He just stopped reviewing them because there was just so many. The only one, I think the last one I saw that he reviewed was I think it was Secret Invasion. I think it might have been Secret Invasion. Or maybe it was either Secret Invasion or She-Hulk. Which that fucking says a lot, but yeah. Yeah, I think that was the last one I saw in review. And I'm still fucking sitting here, knee deep in Marvel, already caught up. That is the crazy thing. A lot of people don't stop, just stop watching Marvel. A lot of people have just ceased watching Marvel while I'm sitting here. People on the podcast, I didn't remember this, but a lot of people on the podcast, there are a lot more people around the start of Phase 4, Phase 5. I mean, we're still in Phase 5, but a lot of those people started in Phase 4. And now, it's just me talking about Marvel most of the time. Especially the TV show, the TV show is so fucking barren. But anyways, I'm the only one fucking sitting here watching this shit. I mean, not shit. This show wasn't shit. I do have my problems with the fucking show. I will get to my problems with Agatha All Along. I will. But I will get to I will get to my problems with the show, because I do have problems with the show. But yeah. CGI is not one of them. The CGI is not one of them. I do quite enjoy the CGI in Agatha All Along. I think, like I was saying, they use it in a smart way, and this show was very low budget compared to the other Marvels. And even then, like $40 million, I'm pretty sure is what it is considered low budget. One is considered low budget movie. I'm gonna use movie. A low budget a film considered a budget below $5 million. Okay. It isn't. Okay, 40 million. But the thing is that my problem is that the show isn't low budget by any means, but that's like by movie standards. Every show had to split this under $40 million budget, which, like, 40 million. Is that 40 million? No. Alright, it needs what? It needs 3 more series now. What the fuck? No, it's 40 million. Okay, divide this by 9. That means that every single one of these episodes had at least $4.4 million of budget. So yeah, every single one of these, every single one of these episodes at least had like the bare minimum, or like I guess the maximum it would be. I guess no, it's the average. The average would be $4.4 million per episode because of the $40 million budget. At least that's what I think. I think it's $40 million of budget for the entire show. So every episode is low budget. Let me just low budget TV show episode. Right, well, what is considered a low budget TV show episode is considered to be under 100. Most scripted can cost around $9 million per episode. Most expensive can cost millions of dollars per episode. Under, okay. Around, okay. So it is 9 million. So this is under budget. So Agatha All Along is a low budget TV show. Like that's just the genuine, like that's just the facts. This is a low budget TV show, and they spread and they used their budget well when it came to CGI, and they did spend a lot of the budget well and smartly by having it be a lot of practical effects. So I can appreciate that about the show. It is an indefinite improvement over what they've been doing, especially with stuff like, again, like Echo. I don't know if it had. So here, there we go, miniseries. I don't know what the budget of Echo was. 40 million. Okay, whatever. The same shit. But even then, like, Echo also had not bad CGI, even for having this $40 million budget. But let's look at the other one. Let's not look at What If, Secret Invasion. Why not? I know a bit of unfair, but to compare it, but Secret Invasion, there's such a fucking difference. What? Secret Invasion cost Marvel Studios $212 million to produce every episode. And compare that to both Echo and Agatha All Along. I think we should remove Echo from this, even though Echo did have like that, like a, what do you call it? Echo had supernatural elements to it towards the end, but Agatha was a lot more fantastical, and it was a fantasy show. So let's just compare Secret Invasion to Agatha All Along. That is an insane difference. That is a difference of $170 million. At most $170 million. At least $170 million of difference. between these two shows. These two shows made by the same company. And Agatha All Along looks better. Miles better, miles more vibrant. Like, this show is vibrant. And sure, it has a lot of like dark colors and all that. But even then, like, those colors pop in the show. And I can appreciate that. This show looks good. There's no other way to put it. This show looks really, really good. Even if it's like dark moments, this show looks good. And the camera work as well, especially, obviously we're gonna get into spoilers, but fucking you should know this if you see a media if you see a review for a thing that's like more than 10 minutes long, expect spoilers. We're not gonna be talking about a thing for fucking however long this episode is gonna be non-spoilery, but yeah, whatever. All of our episodes have spoilers, so yeah. The like when fuck, what was the name? Forgot her name. Shit, that's a high spot. I thought all along. There we go. Lilia Caldero, yeah. Lilia's death was so well shot. It's insane. And that was never in Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was like really gritty, dark colors and all this bullshit. None of that in Agatha All Along. It is so much better. That's for Echo. Echo kind of leaned more into what Secret Invasion had, which I think a lot maybe people are a bit disappointed by. Maybe not, because nobody fucking watched that show. But yeah, I don't know what to say, and I've been fucking blabbering on about the CGI and shit for way too goddamn long, I think. I don't know, but yeah, like, it's just much better. Like this show just looks much better. It's a vast improvement over any show we had for quite a bit of time, aside from the animated ones. In terms of like more, in terms of like CGI, practical effects, and all that shit, I think it was a lot better. It's definitely a step in the right direction. But yeah, enough about the CGI. Let's talk about the characters. And I've only got like 4 notes written down, because I won't be going over the cover members, our Agatha's cover members in like all that much detail. Because honestly, I don't remember much about them. But yeah, let's talk about Agatha. And to be honest, I liked Agatha's character in WandaVision. I mean, not in WandaVision. She didn't have much of a character in WandaVision, aside from the character she put on herself. But I liked here that we got who she truly was, and that she's kind of like, she's very deceitful, but she has a little bit of humanity in her, and like feels emotions that have and has like regrets and all that. I feel like that's a very interesting place to take a character. I'm not sure if she's that much of a villain in the comics, or like at least where she came from, and like where she really ended up. But at least I like where we got what we got for this character. I really, really do. And yeah, I like her personality. I like what she adds to the show. It might be because I think quite a bit since I actually watched the show. But I don't remember her growing at all. But that's, I feel like it's more like tiny, minuscule character development, because we do see her not change a lot personality wise, but definitely change a lot and how she approaches things and how she actually tries to help people, especially Billy in the show, like how she tries to help him. Yeah, especially towards the beginning, not towards the beginning, but definitely towards the end. We do learn of her of the of her kid, which wasn't a thing in one, like we didn't really know much about her in WandaVision. And we didn't like and my big main problem with Agatha this in this show is that she didn't like what development we saw of her, what character like things we saw her were not incorporated into the plot at all, and that was mostly in the finale, which I will get into the finale. The finale is a weird one. I like okay. The finale. I'm gonna talk the finale fucking later because goddamn the finale. It's not terrible. It's not Secret Invasion bad, but it is such a confusing finale because there's like two finales in the show. There are two finales in the show, and I feel like we didn't need that to happen. I think I would have on. Okay, it's. I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about the finale later. Just like I'll keep it in mind when we get there. But yeah, I don't like how much of her backstory was in the finale itself, and how it took so much of the fucking finale. But like aside from that, I do like that she has this relationship with death. Like that's a very interesting way to take the character. I like the sort of attachment she had to her kid, like how much he cares about her, and how much like Billy reminds her of her kid. That's I think very interesting. But yeah, I don't really know what to feel about like her like actual like her her motivations and all that, and especially why I don't remember even why she fucking went to the butcher store anyways, or like why she didn't even get anything. I guess it was just the humor. um I guess she just really like I guess she just went with it because like she was trying to kill the witches anyways. So she just kind of went with it and just tried to like go ahead and do and get rid of and get with it. Uh, but yeah, just I think Agatha was like a pretty good. I didn't like hate her character. Like I didn't hate like oh she didn't get any development, but I did. It did feel weird to me. But yeah, I think some characters don't need to change. I feel like Agatha like did well not changing throughout. I think not changing in a big way throughout most of the show. And or like yeah, like, at least like just trying to help Billy with with his quest instead of like doing things mostly for herself. Yeah, learning that. But yeah, like aside from that, like Agatha doesn't really have much going for her, and yeah, like that's just that's just everything. Everything I gotta say about Agatha really. Next up is Billy. What I want to talk about, and Billy is definitely one of the more interesting characters in the show. And I feel like he's the real main character of the show instead of who actually is the main character, which is who is designed to be the main character. Who Agatha. This time, Billy's the main character, and this show isn't called Wiccan, so there's that. But I'm not mad about it but It's not. It's actually not a weird decision. Really not a weird decision. So Billy, um, supposed to be Wiccan. He comes back and he has sort of his comic origin of just just kind of his comic origin, where he's William Kaplan, and he's raised by he was Billy Maximoff, but later became but his soul was transferred into William Kaplan's body after William Kaplan dies. At least that's what happens in this show. Instead of, I guess what might be his comic origins were like Scarlet Witch brings them both back into other people's bodies. And here, Scarlet Witch, at least in the show, in the show, confirms that Scarlet Witch is dead, like dead and dusted, just not present. And I don't know if that's true or not. If what they're actually going for here is that Scarlet Witch is dead, I firmly believe that she is. I'd like to believe that she is. Just like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Wanda's not dead." Wanda, I feel like should be. Like I feel like Wanda. There's not a lot of. Like, now they've had that. Now that they've had that sort of happen, instead of like there's no I feel like there's no feasible way of like bringing her back or feeling kind of bullshit. The only time I can really see happening is in Secret Wars. That's the only way I can really see it really happening, instead of and not bringing it back in a weird way. Yeah, Billy. I talking about Billy. I like that he sort of like that it was kind of locked away who he really was, and like he couldn't say his name for a bit of the series, and didn't and came to the to Agatha for help because she's like the only witch that actually like knew anything about the Witch's Road. I like that he didn't know he was Billy. He had to figure it out by himself. And how that kind of broke him, to be honest, and how now he had to deal with all that, and how he like figures out he's the Scarlet Witch's son, and that and then like again like that messes him up for a bit, and it's kind of hinted at. It was okay. To be fair, the twist that Billy was Billy is the most obvious thing ever, even if it was leaked. Like, come on. Come on. They straight up hinted. Like, oh, for you to be strong enough to lift the curse or like spell of the Scarlet Witch. Like, it was hinted at that that this guy was gonna be like Wiccan. But like as like putting that aside, and also the fact that it was leaked by Funko, I even in the trailers, like I know, okay, this is definitely Wiccan. Like there's no way he's not Wiccan. I liked like his flashback episode with him like trying to figure out what happened in Westview and all that. I feel like that's definitely like a very interesting episode like a different interesting way they took that. I know I was very outspoken against flashback episodes, but I liked how it was, like how it tied into everything here, and how it showed how it actually got there, and like and how they are where they are, and even then it did sort of it furthered the plot a little because now you know some things. It's information we you need to know, and it could only be told through a flashback, and was integrated well into the series. I like that about this about the flashback episode with Billy. Like it's not a bad episode. And in this episode, there were like almost two flashback episodes. Like three of them really, three almost flashback episodes. Like aside from that, not really. But I do like Billy's character a lot. I feel like he was very well written. I feel like he. I feel like he sort of wrote well. I think. I like the sort of like I guess what they try to build up with the mystery of him going on throughout the show, and definitely how he became sort of not like how he came to distrust Agatha, and then later like regained some of his trust, and how he started kind of acting like a Scarlet Witch a little. Like I like that sort of thing. And like his main motivation of trying to find Tommy in like at least in the Witch's Road. Like him trying to find Tommy and all that, but the ending is it's gonna entail of him and Agatha going to going and trying to find Tommy now that Billy brought him back. That's I think a very interesting way to take the character, and I can't wait for more. Actually, like I want to see what happens, but first but after that, but before going into like the future of what all this can mean, I will be talking about the fucking ending, because the ending is pretty weird. The ending for this show is not just your typical ending, because there's like multiple layers to it. And I don't think all of it is good. But before even all that, let's talk about the other Coven members. So I lump them all together because they don't really grow a lot. I don't think. Like Jen, for example, I liked her as a character, but she didn't really. I don't think she grows much aside from her like actual episode where she regains her powers. But even then, she was never cited again after that. Alice, I did like what they did with Alice, having her like be like, oh, like maybe you could find her mother here, but then like, she realized that, oh yeah, she's probably not down here, and she's probably somewhere else, or like like somewhere else, like she's not alive, and like because what we'll learn later on in the show with the Witch's Road, and like how she deals with generational trauma. I feel like that's a very interesting plot point and led to one of the better episodes this season. Really, I did like the episode leading with her as the main character and the big focus of the trial. And also, like her death was a bit weird. I will say her death was a bit weird, but yeah, like aside from that, I did like her character. Next up is Lilia Calderu, which is, I think, one of the best characters in this entire show. I loved her episode. Her episode was so good. It is one of the best episodes of Marvel television, I think, ever. Like, it is such a well-made episode. It's insane. I don't think I could gush about that episode enough. Like, it is really good. For like with it being told at a time, and her and how the show itself like builds up to that, with her just with Lilia saying weird stuff throughout the entire show and us not knowing what it means, and then like at that point learning what it meant and seeing it all like unfold together. And even in the episode, like it's told out of order. That episode was so smart, and the reveal of like the next thing I didn't want to talk about, but yeah, shit, the reveal of like death and what's coming, and that being told through the tarot cards. It's so smart. It's so good, and it shows like her character. And we have the flashbacks to her being young and all that. God damn, it's so well made. And I couldn't give enough praise. Lydia Calderu, I think, is one of the best characters in this, just solely by the fact that she gave us that that episode. It was so good. And how it ended, God. It was such a good episode. I know I didn't talk about her character at all, but yeah, I feel like she is a lot of fun, and there's some things I will talk about later, and maybe in the plot that I don't enjoy, but that's not really character wise. There's things I don't enjoy about the show, about what characters do, but we'll talk about that later. Instead of me oh yeah, I'll talk about it here, but that's not really character things. Yeah, Lily Calderu, just an incredible character, and definitely one of the best ones this show has to offer. And next up was the one I want to talk about. Oh yeah, wait, I forgot. Sharon Davis. What the fuck was her point? Really, like her point was just to be here and then die. That is one of the biggest complaints about the show, is that this character from WandaVision. Like, this character was, I'm not sure if she was liked, but she was definitely recognizable from WandaVision. She just did not do anything and then promptly died and was never asked about. She probably had like a family and it just fucking never asked about. Nobody ever cared. It was so weird. It was such a weird decision that I asked, like, what the fuck was the point, aside from just like doing like it was just weird. It was just a weird ass decision to have like Sharon Davis be in this like group of people in the show in general, and then to have her die and not have any mention of it ever again. Like, it's such a weird ass decision. But yeah, aside from that, next up is Rio/Death, and I like her ties to Agatha. I feel like it's very interesting how like Agatha just does not like her, and how they met with Death coming to take Agatha's like son, and what Agatha did with like Death and all that, pretty much like feeding Death. And like Death's actual tie to the show, like, oh yeah, like Billy shouldn't be alive, and also like Agatha also shouldn't be Agatha was like, oh yeah, like she also shouldn't be alive and all that. I did like Rio's role in the show, and even then she was also kind of a fun character. And like obviously like her role was also like her being Death was also leaked by Funko, because Funko leaks fucking everything. But yeah, I like her reveal with like the music and the fact that it mattered towards Lily Calderu's death, like her like being a premonition, all that. God damn. But yeah, Rio and / Death was such a very enjoyable part of the show, and how they tied into everything. And towards the end, where like Agatha pretty much sacrificing herself to keep Billy alive. Even though like Agatha does come back later as a ghost. Yeah, like aside from that, like just really well made with the characters. I enjoyed a lot of the characters in the show. I don't think there was any bad characters, weird character decisions. Because even Sharon Davis was kind of enjoyable. And kind of stupid, but very enjoyable. Just a fine job done with the characters in this show. But yeah, let's move on to what is actually my main gripe with the show, and that is the plot. There are a lot of weird decisions with the show when it comes to the plot. It's honestly a pretty simple plot. Like, oh, they go around the Witch's Road, and they do these trials, and they all do the characters. It's mostly like most of the episodes are character focused, except there are some things that happen within the plot that, like, for me, just kind of don't make sense for what we're going for here. Like, it's a pretty simple like plot. It's a pretty simple. Get here, do this. Like, it doesn't need much motivation aside from the fact that these people know that they need to do this. They need to look for the and they need to look for the next trial and all that. So I do like they don't need much motivation to do that. They already know that. But the fact is that we have the Salem 7 coming here, and I feel like the Salem 7 are just there to add unnecessary urgency. Sure, they're kind of important when Lily Caldew dies, but the thing is that would have always happened without the Salem 7 being there. I think the Salem 7 really just didn't need to be here, and they just add tension just to have tension be there. And they are dispatched before the season finale, before both the season finales, and they don't do much in the show. They don't show up much in the show. They show up first episode, then they're like in the episode when they learn to, like, not learn, but like they fight with the brooms. That's there. And they're there in episode 7. That's really it for Salem 7. They are not they aren't they just aren't these aren't important to the actual plot of the show. Like, they are not important to the actual plot of the show. I don't like that about them. They're just there to add another unnecessary villain, and they don't even tie to anything character wise. They're just there to add urgency where there's I don't think there needs to be urgency. Another thing that I don't really like about the plot is the character, like, stuff that they add. There are a lot of weird stuff when it comes to the characters that I don't enjoy, mainly because it makes the world feel small. For example, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, Billy is locked out of saying his actual name for a bit, and that would be interesting. Obviously, that would be explored as to who actually did that. But what I don't like is that it was Lilia that did it. And the thing is that probably would have implied a lot of very big things with the character, and that just doesn't happen. It's almost like it didn't matter. It also happens to other things. Like, for example, Agatha's revealed to be the one that locks away Jen's powers, and you think that would have been a big thing, and that kind of is, but it was brought up at the end, and then it was instantly rectified, like with the trial. Like, it just did not matter. That's a lot of like there's just a weird stuff. It's just things, character, like, plot twists. Like, oh, this thing happened with this character. It's like, well, yeah, cool, but it was never really explored, and that's really a big problem with the show. Like, this show has a lot of unexplored things because of the characters, because they need to pay attention to other stuff. And I feel like it would have done the show a big service just to not have that and have it be more open. Like, oh, other things have been going on, other witches have been around doing stuff. Because it makes the world feel small, of like the witches and all that, and it's witchcraft stuff, where I think it didn't need to, like, it just didn't need to happen. Like, these witches just know each other because they're in close proximity. Sure, I guess it would make sense that they would put stuff like, oh, stuff on each other if they were in close proximity, but I feel like it just makes the world feel small. And I would have enjoyed it to be a lot more open when it came to that. But it just never happened. There are some reveals for the characters that I do like. I do enjoy, like, for example, like Agatha killing all the coven, like all the different witches, because they want to get to the Witch's Road, and the Witch's Road was actually a scam until it worked to this one time, and she just went along with it. But yeah, speaking about that, I do like some of the characters like Fates here. I do think Alice's death, and I mentioned like Alice's and Sharon Davis's one. Sharon Davis more so than Alice, but Alice is still like weird because she was just like, oh, she's dead. Like, oh, okay, moving on. And even then, like, she wasn't like dispatched and in the same vein as Lilia. It's almost like they just like went in one direction, one character, and just like never did that with the other, even though they had that with like episode 4. I feel like they could have just moved stuff around, and it would have been a much more impactful death. Instead of what we actually got for Alice, I feel like that would have been better. And even then, like Alice is like almost never mentioned ever again after the thing, even though like what we learn later. Yeah, and again, Sharon Davis is fucking weird. The Salem 7 weird. What happened with Agatha? I don't know how to feel about what happened for Agatha at the end. Like her sacrificing herself to let Billy live. I do like that. That's a big part of her character. This show, like her letting Billy live. But aside from that, like her being a ghost and not helping Billy find Tommy, sure, why not? Like that's just fine. And also like Rio not like being there, but also not being there most of the time. Yeah, like I guess, eh. And then there's the big reveal of the show, where the Witch's Road is fake, just was made up by Billy, just because he wanted to, and that does a lot. That like says a lot about him being the son of the Scarlet Witch. That's very cool. And I would have liked. I like this twist. I will not like it. No, I like this twist, but I feel like it could have been explored better within the show because of what they actually do when they reveal this. Where it's said, like where we see that that Billy based a lot of the trials and all the locations of the trials on like paintings and like stuff around this room. So I would have liked to see it being played up more. Not like that. Not like, oh, we visited his room and like we remember all that stuff. But I feel like it could have been played a lot more, where instead of that being the case, maybe we see a lot more stuff from like other angles. Maybe like from Billy's life and like being a dark twisted version of that, or like maybe it's like maybe like Billy's life as like Billy Maximoff, like him being in the hex. Like I feel like that could have been played up more. And us knowing that if we watch WandaVision, like for example, maybe one could have been based on like a sitcom version, like one of the sitcoms or where he was in, or like or like the like a special like or like again like maybe something from Billy like William Kaplan's personal life, like that sort of thing. That I feel like that could have been a lot better than it being based on like stuff around this room that we don't really see, that stuff around this room that we don't see all that much in the show. But I feel like the twist would have worked a lot better. Not that it didn't work, it would have worked a lot better if the Witch's Road was just based on stuff that we've already seen previously, and instead of it being like, oh, like it would. I don't think it would have made the twist obvious, because it could have been explained that, oh, the Witch's Road is just taking stuff from memory. Like the Witch's Road as an entity is taking stuff from people's memories and making that into the trials, instead of it being like William Kaplan taking stuff from his memories and making them into trials. Like it could have been taken differently in the show, and that could have still worked. But aside from that, I do like the twist with the Witch's Road. I feel like that was very interesting, and especially like what that actually meant. And even then, like Billy still helped some people like regain stuff, and like people get closure and all that. Like that's very interesting, very interesting. And it kind of the Witch's Road was kind of real, and I also like the fact that the ballad and it kind of makes sense since the Witch's Road ballad like changes a lot, and we learned that like Agatha and like her kid made the ballad, or like at least like a version of the ballad, and it kind of spread alongside like the witch community and all that. That's very interesting, and I do really enjoy that when it comes to when it comes to the show. I feel like that was a very interesting way to take the story and then the Witch's Road and having it not be a different dimension. It kind of exists. That was the main critique I had with the show when it was first revealed, that this was just gonna be another dimension the MCU had. I'm glad that they didn't go in that direction with the Witch's Road. I feel like that's very very well made. Just kudos to that, because goddamn, we have enough dimensions in the fucking MCU. I know in the comics there are a lot more dimensions, but goddamn it, we just need this one. This is all we need. This is literally all we need. Just this is it. I'm glad this is all we're gonna get. Like for a bit, because dimensions are getting weird. I know we're probably going to get Battle World in Secret Wars. That's just a given. We're probably gonna get Battle World in Secret Wars. Aside from that, I'm good with what we got. But yeah, that's my little analysis of the plot. So yeah, the ending. Fuck, I forgot about the ending. The ending is weird. So like I said earlier, it ends with with Billy becoming Wiccan and Agatha sacrificing herself to keep Wiccan alive, because Death was looking for Wiccan because he's not supposed to be alive. And Death takes Agatha, and then that's episode 8 of 9, and 9 is mostly a flashback episode to really explain Agatha's who Agatha's son was, what Agatha did after murdering her entire coven, and how she sort of played up the scam of the Witch's Road, and what she did afterwards with and Billy finding out that Witch's Road was fake through Agatha just telling him yeah, you fucking made it, and then taking off what happened in episode 8, where Billy grabbed a dying someone who died recently and turning them into Tommy. And now they're gonna go find that person, even though Agatha's dead. And this finale almost doesn't feel like a finale, and I would have preferred if it wasn't the finale. I would have preferred if episode 8 and 9 were just 2 episodes, were just one episode together. I feel like that would have been a lot better. Just make the flashback the start of the final finale, then have the entire thing that happens afterwards. Maybe leave out the Witch's Road stuff, and then and then the big twist. I feel like it could have worked a lot better if it just was one episode, because it was released at the same time. And I do get why it was released at the same time now, because they're just it's just one big finale split into 2. I feel like it would have been a lot better if it was just one finale. And that was my main gripe. The finale didn't feel like a finale. It felt like episode 8 was a finale, episode 9 was just kind of an epilogue or something. And that really I don't know, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't particularly like it, but it's not a bad finale. It's just I don't like the decision they took with it. It's just a weird ass decision. Yeah, this does set up season 2. Season 2, I was going to the future. Of the show, it does set up a season 2 of them fighting Tommy and us getting perhaps Speed or later. It's gonna be weird to see how they're gonna make it season 2, but yeah, I wouldn't mind season 2, but it'll be very different from what we have here in season 1, or at least what would be season 1. But I would not mind season 2. I feel like they could go in a very different direction with the show, and I would like it, but I don't know if it'll be enough for season 2. I'm going to find Tommy. But yeah, it'll be definitely a very good season 2, because you can't just jump into it. You have to watch season 1. And season 1 isn't really that long, so I don't think it's that bad. But yeah. In conclusion, Agatha All Along is one of the better shows we've gotten. MCU shows we've gotten in quite a bit of time, but it does have a lot of its flaws and very big flaws that I do not enjoy, and that kind of hamper the show a little bit, to be honest. But aside from that, it's a pretty good show, and pretty good is pretty good, and to be honest, that lands it in a comfortable B tier. It is not. It's good. It's a pretty good show. Pretty good watch. Do you need to watch WandaVision? I would say so, but I mean, who hasn't watched WandaVision? That's all. I think that's all you need to watch. Maybe Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Maybe just that. Like those three things, you're good to go. For the show. So yeah. What did you guys think about Agatha All Along? Leave in the comments below. This is all our socials are in the description. And yeah, no, that's about it. See ya.